If you've been scrolling through endless product pages, watching a dozen top 10 videos, and still feel stuck wondering which industrial sewing machine actually delivers for the kind of work you do, you're not alone. It's easy to get lost in the hype, especially when every spec sheet promises heavy-duty power and precision feeding. That's why today I'm breaking down the Consew 255RB3 so you can see whether it truly fits your shop or if you'd be better off looking elsewhere. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the environment this machine was built for. The 255RB3 is a single-needle, walking-foot, industrial-grade unit. In plain English, that means it's designed to pull thick, layered materials through the stitch zone without the fabric bunching or slipping, a common headache when you're tackling upholstery, leather jackets, canvas bags, or even automotive interiors. If you've ever tried to sew a heavy canvas tote on a domestic machine and ended up with a tangled mess, you'll instantly recognize why a walking foot makes a difference. It essentially walks in sync with the needle, feeding the fabric evenly and keeping the top and bottom layers aligned. Now, who actually benefits from that kind of feeding? Professional upholsterers, small-batch leather craftsmen, and anyone who does regular production runs on heavy fabrics will find the 255RB3 a sensible addition. The motor is rated for continuous duty, so you can run long seams without the motor overheating. That reliability translates into fewer interruptions on a job that might otherwise take hours. If you run a workshop that needs to churn out multiple pieces a day, think custom sofas, car seat repairs, or large-scale canvas banners, this machine can keep up. On the flip side, if your sewing is more occasional, like making a few home decor pillows or occasional repairs on denim, the 255RB3 starts to feel like a heavyweight that you'll never truly leverage. The footprint alone takes up a sizable portion of a typical home garage, and the weight means you'll need a sturdy, level floor and possibly a dedicated power outlet. For a hobbyist with a cramped apartment, that's a logistical hurdle that can outweigh the occasional benefit of a walking foot. One practical strength that often goes under-discussed is the ease of threading the needle on this model. Despite its industrial size, Consew kept the threading path relatively straightforward, which saves you time when you're swapping threads for different fabrics. In a real-world scenario, imagine you're in the middle of a leather jacket build and need to change from a thick polyester thread to a waxed nylon for the lining. The threading system lets you do that without pulling the machine apart or fiddling with obscure guides, something that can be a real morale booster when you're on a deadline. Another point that matters to many buyers is the machine's ability to handle a range of stitch lengths. The dial on the 255RB3 offers a decent spread, giving you flexibility from tight, dense stitches for leather to longer stitches for decorative seams on canvas. In practice, I've seen workshops use the same machine to stitch a reinforced leather seat frame, then dial it back for a decorative top stitch on a canvas tote, all without swapping out the hardware. That versatility helps you justify the price tag, especially if you're looking to consolidate equipment. However, the single-needle nature is a double-edged sword. It's perfect if you only need straight seams or simple top stitches, but it limits you if you're after decorative patterns, triple needle stitching, or heavy-duty hemming that requires two needles. Some users assume industrial automatically means multi-needle, and that expectation can lead to disappointment. If you need a machine that can produce complex embroidery or twin-needle hems, you'll have to look elsewhere. Speaking of expectations, the 255RB3's heavy-duty claim is literal. The chassis is cast iron, which gives it a solid feel and reduces vibration, but it also makes the unit difficult to move. If you're renting space or frequently rearrange your shop floor, you'll need a dolly or at least a couple of strong helpers. The weight isn't just a logistical concern, it also impacts the installation process. You'll want to ensure the power supply matches the machine's requirements. Most units need a dedicated 110120V line with a proper grounding plug. Plugging it into a standard household outlet with a cheap extension cord can trip breakers and potentially damage the motor. A practical weakness that shows up once you get past the initial setup is the limited adjustability of the presser foot pressure. While the walking foot does a great job with thick layers, you still have to manually fine-tune the pressure for each fabric type. In a workshop setting where you're constantly switching between leather and lightweight cotton, that extra step can add up. Some newer industrial machines come with electronic pressure control that adjusts on the fly, but the Consew sticks with a manual knob, which feels a bit dated for those who value automation. Another consideration is the learning curve. Even seasoned Swiss find industrial machines a bit intimidating at first. The foot pedal is more responsive,